The opening to Thunderbolts is a not-so-subtle nod to suicide.
There's something wrong with me.
And then
Just a void.
she jumps. Which, by the way, just looks quite good. This moment so clearly alludes to suicide, so I can safely say I wasn't expecting this opening when going into the new Marvel movie, and I was pleasantly surprised. It immediately hooked me. And then following that hook that will set up the emotional weight and themes of the film, we get this really well-shot action sequence with this interesting choice to continue her voiceover expressing her feelings of loneliness.
I thought throwing myself into work was the answer.
And in just a couple minutes, we're set up with the two best aspects of this movie: the sadness that envelops every character, and the pretty good action. Real quick thoughts on the action. It's shot in a clear way so you can see what's going on, and it's not too overly edited. Just getting action sequences with those two aspects is sadly kind of rare nowadays, but Thunderbolts does a good job with it. So, this whole opening surprised and intrigued me. Little did I know I was going to get a good movie with characters battling their loneliness, depression, personal failures, and much more. The characters and what this movie means is really what I want to dive into in this video, but I have one thing I want to say before getting to that. The movie's actually pretty funny.
It was sponsored by Shane's Tire Shop.
Shane?
Yes.
What you talk of Shane?
It was.
You
It
didn't
was
have
sponsored.
that kind of money.
Yes, it was.
No.
Director Jake Schreier and writers Eric Pearson and Joanna Kahlo, sorry if I said that wrong, are really interested in depression and the toll that takes on a person. Exploring this theme could be dangerous territory for making a major blockbuster. The tone could quickly turn into a bummer, or even worse, a boring bummer, but it continually keeps the mood lifted with its humor.
Bob.
And I'll bring attention to one more I like.
45. The long barrel. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's
It's big. It's long.
That's just a few jokes I like, but I think it does a good job with the funnies and balancing the tone. Okay, for the rest of the video, I just want to talk about the characters and what this movie's saying because it really made an impact on me. Let's start with Yelena, played by Florence Pugh, and she's putting in the work. Florence didn't go to sleep in this movie, which is not something you can say for major actors when they go act in a blockbuster. She balances the tone of her depression and wisecracks so well, matching perfectly with the movie's tone. She's often expressing how lost she feels in life, and especially how alone she feels. These are feelings I think we can all relate to. Now on to Alexei, played by David Harbour, who's also putting in the work. His character is a washed-up superhero dying to get back into the limelight.
The point of work is fame and fortune.
We meet him in his messy, beaten-down apartment, cueing us into the idea that he's given up on life.
So you feel fulfilled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so full. So filled.
But anytime there appears to be a chance to become the Red Guardian again, he so clearly lights up with enthusiasm. And he clearly tells us how important being a superhero again is to him.
I would burn the city to the ground to work for her.
What?
And I think we all strive to be someone better. We hope to matter. We hope to feel important in this world, important to someone. So, Yelena and Alexei are these sad characters, both at low points in their lives, who could certainly benefit by having each other and being together, which is why this scene, where she says,
Daddy, I'm so alone.
and he says,
I didn't think you wanted me.
I did.
When I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
it's moments like these where two characters connect that makes me cry. Like, I'm not joking, this movie made me cry twice, and I'll let you know the second time in a bit. Yelena and Alexei get a large portion of the emotional weight in this movie, but Bob,
I'm Bob.
played by Lewis Pullman, probably gets the next most, but it mostly comes with the help of the other characters. Let's stop on John Walker, played by Wyatt Russell, real quick. I love this scene right here. Could you ever imagine a scene like this would be in a Marvel movie? Showing a character being a neglectful father and maybe a mediocre husband with a temper?
I'm watching him, he's fine.
You're in your phone.
You don't like the way that I do it, then you can do it yourself, okay?
I mean, it seems like he's kind of a bad person, but I think this scene alone is what makes his character so much more interesting. Characters with flaws tend to be more interesting to watch. Alright, back to Bob over here.
I'm Bob.
I like to think of him as the physical embodiment of the themes of the movie. As mentioned before, the movie is thinking about how loneliness and failure can affect your psychological state. In short, it's interested in depression. And what is depression? A dark feeling that can overtake your body. So the design of the evil Sentry guy embodies that. Also, it just looks really cool too, while still exploring the themes of the movie. Now, near the end of the movie here, the Thunderbolts know he's too powerful for them, so they hope they can just save a few people in the process. But Yelena has an idea. This isn't going to be a final fight that has a blue light blasting through the sky or seeing who can punch harder. This is going to be more personal. This will go inward to fight our personal demons, the things that cause our trauma. So what is one way to overcome your trauma? You have to step into the black void and face it. And she does, in several very inventive, Inception-like, Nightmare on Elm Street-esque sequences, until she finally finds Bob sitting alone in an attic, too afraid to battle his issues, where him and Yelena have a great conversation about how depression affects your psyche.
I have these good days, you know, where I feel invincible. But then there are a lot of bad days when I remember that nothing matters, you know.
And look at Louis Pullman's performance here after Yelena watches his abusive father. What I get from this is he's so uncomfortable for her to see his trauma, but you can see he clearly wants her to reach out to him, but he's too afraid to accept help. Because when she does convince him to accept her help, his depression fights back. And then the whole squad shows up, proving that maybe they are a team, and maybe they're not alone in this world. But that will be put to the test when, in the final fight, Bob is having a literal fight with what made him the meth-addicted drug addict he mentioned earlier. He's fighting the thing that makes him feel alone in the world, and he's fighting it alone. And that's what fighting your own personal issues can feel like. But what you need is answered right here. Yelena and the team break free of their restraints and gather around Bob to show him that he's not alone, that none of them there are alone. It's showing him, and it shows us, that the people you love is what makes your world better. This is the other moment that made me cry. This shot right here. Thinking about how it's the relationships in our lives that help keep the depression, the loneliness, the feeling of being a failure away. It's the people in our lives that make our life worth living.